When I lose the sense of motivation, it's time for me to move away from the game of basketball.
Above all else, basketball is part of the entertainment industry. Hence, people in the NBA and any professional basketball league for that matter are automatically looked up to as celebrities in their own right. But sometimes, even NBA stars get caught up in many controversies, and more often than not, these issues involve their careers. So stick around, because today we're going to be taking a look at the times these NBA players got caught lying to their fans. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. To start off, we'll first be looking at one of the most common things NBA players lie about: their height. First is Zion Williamson. The #1 draft pick got a teensy bit shorter in 2019 after getting in pro ball. During his time in Duke, Williamson was listed at 6'7". This started during his freshman year and of course continued until the end of his career. But of course, with the NBA launching a crackdown on fake heights, the New Orleans Pelicans rookie had to be measured again. And it turns out, he's actually an inch shorter than his declared height, meaning he was only 6 foot and 6 inches. Fans are quick to defend the young player, but of course, there are others who were there for the roast. But this wasn't the only issue going on with the youngster. What he actually needs to focus on is his build. At that height and his current playing style, the Pelicans' conditioning staff must work quickly to ensure that their prized asset will be able to keep his motors going for a long time. Next is how Kemba Walker also lied about his height. For his entire NBA career, the Boston Celtics veteran was listed at 6'1". But with the NBA releasing new rules on its players' actual heights, Kemba Walker had to get checked. And surprisingly, he's actually in the 5-foot section with a real height of 5 foot and 11 inches. Kemba himself announced this fact during last year's Celtics Shamrock Gala. This confirms what everyone has been noticing about the Celtics point guard. To be fair, he's a pretty good scorer, but when things go awry, Kemba is actually pretty hopeless. People are now comparing Walker to Boston's Isaiah Thomas, though we do know that Kemba is better than him. For now, the Celtics coaches need to work on what they need to do about this new information so that they can properly utilize Walker on the court. Next is that Bradley Beal also got people confused about his height. Okay, this one's kind of tricky. Back in 2016, Washington Wizards owner Ted Leonsis tweeted to the world that his shooting guard Bradley Beal actually grew an inch. Although back then, Brad was only 19 years old, so it's somewhat acceptable to learn that he's still growing. This also tells us why he'd been experiencing a few stress injuries in his leg, but overall, experts say this growth is good for Beal's health. However, fast forward to 2020, we later learned that Beal actually shrank. Yep, you heard this one right. Instead of being listed at 6'5", the Wizards player is actually just 6'3". This means he's even shorter than John Wall. That's if John Wall had been honest about his short stature all this time. We've already established that a lot of players do buff up their numbers in the NBA. And of course, there's Kevin Durant, who liked to toy around with his actual height. If those mentioned earlier told everyone that they were taller than they really are, KD, on the other hand, wanted everyone to think that he was shorter. Since debuting in the NBA, Durant has always been listed as a 6'9" small forward. But of course, everyone's doubtful of that information every time he gets to stand beside other supposedly tall players like DeMarcus Cousins, looking just about the same height. But then in 2016, he finally put an end to the rumors and speculations about his height, since he revealed how tall he was during a radio program on KNBR, saying, "Since I love you guys so much, I was recorded at 6 foot 10 inches and 3/4 with no shoes. So with my shoes on, I'm 7 feet. The reason for this is that he wanted to remain as a small forward instead of being a power forward. But of course, KD being KD, he had to add, "I just like messing with people. They just ask me so much. Yeah, I just like messing with people." You know what, Kevin? You don't really have to stick to labels on this one, because the fact is, the only thing that's really important is how you play the game. Moving on to Manute Bol, who did not lie about his height. Truth be told, he's one of the tallest players ever recorded in the history of the league. He stands at an actual height of 7'7", just like retired Romanian player Gheorghe Mureșan. But the reason Manute is on this list is because of his real age. The controversy began after Bol's son, Bol, who was also towering at 7'1", was recruited to the University of Oregon. This got the Bol family back in the news and was the catalyst for an interview with former Cleveland State coach Kevin Mackey in 2017. Mackey was the one to reveal that he actually made up Manute's birthday to allow him to play for the NBA, which was long known to be on October 16, 1962. The former coach added that for all he knew, Manute Bol could have been in his 40s or 50s when he was playing in the league. The Pacers scout famously said that every athletic door is open at 19. Every athletic door is closed when you're 35, meaning that he knew full well that he was conning everyone, including Bol, who did not really know when his real birthday was. While we may never know just how old Manute really was when he played for the NBA, we're pretty sure that he wasn't over 50. Another person who lied not just to his fans but to his teammates and himself is Russell Westbrook. What am I talking about? Well, this happened during the OKC Thunder's vs. Phoenix Suns game back in 2017. Russell Westbrook was one game short from breaking the NBA's single-season record for triple-doubles that was previously held by Hall of Famer Oscar Robertson. So during their matchup with the Suns, it was so obvious that Russell's mission was to do just that. It became completely blatant during the bizarre fourth quarter when it was clear that Westbrook was only 2 assists shy of his coveted record. But the Phoenix Suns was not having any of it, and the team made it their goal to do everything in their power to stop Russ from achieving the great feat. They did this in perfect fashion. While the Suns were in the lead for 20 points, Russ became passive and started passing to his teammates instead of taking wide-open shots. So the Suns decided to foul anytime Westbrook passed the ball to his teammate, and after drilling 2 foul shots, Westbrook had enough and intentionally fouled to get himself out of the game. Despite the obvious goal at the end of the game, Westbrook still chose to defend himself, saying, "I wasn't playing for records since I've been in the league. This is my 9th year. I play the same way every single night. Record or no record, I compete at a high level, and that's what I do." He added that he was not making the shots just so that his other teammates could help. Fortunately for Westbrook, the Nuggets didn't have that kind of determination back then, since Russ was able to snatch the most triple-double records in one season a day later when the Thunders outmatched the Nuggets by 1 point. Now tell everyone that was not your plan all this time, Russ. Now the next ones are NBA players who promised to be loyal, but couldn't be for several reasons. First one on that front would be Paul George. The 6-time NBA All-Star Paul George has repeatedly told his original team, the Indiana Pacers, that all he wanted was to join the Los Angeles Lakers, but then he moved to the Oklahoma City Thunders in 2017, all while still saying that it was his lifelong dream to become a member of the Lakers. This was pretty understandable since he was born and raised in California, and he was always vocal about the love and respect he had for the late Kobe Bryant. However, as it turns out, his deep-rooted love for the Lakers was nothing but a lie, considering just last year he signed with the Lakers' forever rival, the Los Angeles Clippers. Well, he did fulfill his promise to return to Cali, but no one was prepared to see him join the other LA team. George even went as far as saying he grew up as a Clippers fan, which did not sit well to Lakers sleuths who dug up all the footage saying otherwise. Then of course we all know what happened to Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers went on a shopping spree when it acquired both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in the same year, but prior to that, there was this messy breakup kind of thing going on between Leonard and his original team, the San Antonio Spurs. Firstly, Kawhi promised to be Spurs for life, but then he was actually the one to ask to be traded to the Raptors following his right leg injury. His uncle goes on saying the reason why Kawhi said bye-bye to the Spurs was because of the lack of trust between the player and his former team managers. So of course there isn't anything left to do but leave. Also on this list is Kyrie Irving, who broke a lot of Cavs fans' hearts when he made the switch to the Boston Celtics in 2017. This was truly heartbreaking to say the least, since many Cavaliers fans were still not over the fact that LeBron James also left them for another team. In his case, it was Miami. The thing was, he promised to never leave Cleveland like LeBron did. But surprise, surprise, where is he now? And for the finale, the greatest player of all time, the legend himself, Michael Jordan, is also on this list due to his early retirement and what it entailed. If you were too young to know about this, then let me explain. The world was shocked to find Michael Jordan still in his prime suddenly announcing his retirement in 1993. MJ says he just doesn't like to play anymore, but then he goes on to play for minor league baseball, which was pretty strange. However, the real issue is that people think it wasn't a retirement, but a clandestine deal with NBA's big boss David Stern to keep Jordan's name unsullied and his gambling habits under control. Prior to his retirement, Mike was actually called in front of a jury to discuss a $57,000 personal check he signed to Slim Buller, a convicted substance dealer. Originally, Jordan claimed that it was a loan repayment, but under oath, the basketball legend admitted that it was payment for his gambling debt. So if you put 2 and 2 together and the fact that he returned to pro ball in 1995, it's not crazy to think that that's actually what happened. What do you think? That wraps up the video. Thanks for watching.